A significant adversary in the Mortal Kombat reboot timeline is D'Vorah. She is a Kai Tin who resides in Outworld and holds the position of Kotal Khan's first minister up to the point at which she betrays him in favor of Shinnok, to whom she is genuinely devoted. Before her actual allegiances to some of the main enemies of the franchise were made public, she ascended through the ranks of the Outworld Empire. In Mortal Kombat X, D'Vorah made her playable debut as a significant foe in the game's story mode. She's back in Mortal Kombat 11 as a playable character and also appears in the game's story mode as a minor foe. So without further ado, let's jump right into the video to learn more about D'Vorah. Before we get into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means an awful lot. Thank you. Let's begin. How has D'Vorah's story panned out so far? D'Vorah is a member of the Kai Tin race, a group of colony insects that fuse to create human-like bodies. D'Vorah, originally from the Arniek Islands, promised to serve the Emperor to escape becoming a slave after Shao Kahn subjugated and annexed her kingdom into Outworld at some point in the past. After gaining political clout, D'Vorah worked closely with Shao Kahn's successor, Kotal Khan, as his second-in-command and advisor throughout the civil war against Mileena. D'Vorah, the sole surviving member of her species, has her main goal set: protecting the Hive, the site where all other Kai Tin are born. She would therefore side with anybody, even Shinnok and Kronika, whom she thinks will assist in maintaining and restoring the Kai Tin, backstabbing Kotal Khan in the process. Many insect themes influence the physical features of D'Vorah. 4 wings or pincers protrude from her back, giving the illusion that her skin is a yellow chitinous hide. Her lips are naturally black, and she has black marks on the back of her head. She appears to be wearing wedge heels on the heels of her feet. Her compound eyes have a shattered look similar to a fly's. Her teeth have sharp points, suggesting she may be a carnivore. D'Vorah is dressed in all black with armored shin guards, spiked gauntlets on her arms, armored ringlets on her forearms, and a hood. Her neck is adorned with a single scarab-shaped piece of necklace with a green stone in the middle.
Another hive. This is our territory.
D'Vorah in Mortal Kombat X. D'Vorah was supervising the shipment of the abducted Shaolin monks with Baraka and his Tarkatans when Liu Kang, Kung Lao, and Raiden showed up to free the monks during a flashback to Shao Kahn's competition in Outworld. D'Vorah faced Raiden after Baraka was vanquished and lost. It is revealed that D'Vorah assisted Kotal Khan, who was known as Coatl back then, in overthrowing Mileena, whom she had previously served sometime after Shao Kahn's passing. She ended up killing Baraka as a result. D'Vorah gives Coatl the name of Kotal Khan. D'Vorah serves as Kotal Khan's first minister and representative in the present. To prevent Mileena and her rebel group from retaking the throne, D'Vorah aids Kotal Khan in defense. As Kotal Khan talks with Kano about finding Mileena's whereabouts and leaves to look into the obstruction preventing them, D'Vorah is in his carriage. Mileena tries to ambush the Emperor, but D'Vorah kills several Tarkata as she launches her surprise attack. After Kung Jin defeats him in battle, D'Vorah reluctantly accepts Kotal's order that they join forces with the Earthrealm soldiers despite her initial mistrust of Cassie and her crew. D'Vorah offers to go to the Kwatan jungle to get Shinnok's amulet from Mileena when the special forces learn exactly where the amulet is via Kano. Cassie demands to go with her despite her insistence on traveling alone, and Kotal agrees. When Rain and Tanya are encountered in the bush after their arrival, D'Vorah starts fighting with both of them. D'Vorah prepares to murder them both once she defeats them, but Cassie stops her. When the two go into the tent to get Shinnok's amulet, Mileena finds them. Mileena is challenged by D'Vorah, who overcomes her, bringing both the amulet and Mileena to Kotal Khan. With the Emperor's approval, D'Vorah kisses Mileena to death and feeds her to an army of parasitic insects that eat her from the inside out. After Mileena is put to death, it becomes clear that D'Vorah has been working for Quan Chi as a spy for many years. She murders the guards who were with her while she carried the amulet, then takes it to Earthrealm and gives it to Quan Chi. Devora comes just in time for Quan Chi to finish his incantation, which releases Shinnok from his amulet, but too late to save Quan Chi from being killed by Scorpion. Quan Chi's demise means Devora gets a promotion to Shinnok's main enforcer. She goes with him to the Sky Temple, where she ties Johnny Cage up and releases her insects to eat his flesh over time. Cassie Cage finally overpowers her and knocks her out, after which she battles the corrupted Shinnok. After the corrupted Shinnok is defeated, Sonya Blade gives the Special Forces personnel who enter the Jinsei chamber the order to arrest the unconscious Devora and, if possible, capture Shinnok's other allies. Devora in Mortal Kombat 11. Devora fights Kotal Khan and the previous Jade while under the command of Kronika and the assurance that her people's hive will be spared, but she is unsuccessful. She later reappears to torment Charon for refusing to help Kronika by transporting her soldiers across the Sea of Blood and to prevent Charon from transporting Raiden's team across the Sea of Blood as well. With a lethal poison, Devora manages to catch the current Scorpion off guard. Still, the former Scorpion, who his current counterpart had persuaded to turn against Kronika, slashes off her pincers. Devora, who is severely hurt, crawls underground to avoid more combat. Throughout the conflict on Kronika's keep, she is not seen. Devora in the Mortal Kombat X comic series. Devora once observed the Kaitin elders bickering among themselves on the Arniek Islands as the Outworld was about to invade. Knowing it was too late, Devora declined to take part in the conversation. When Emperor Shao Kahn and his generals Reiko and Goro came, Devora did not run away from the Emperor, but instead maintained her ground. While Devora despised the invader and lied to save her people's destinies as slaves, she claimed to be Shao Kahn's humble servant. When he asked if she was Kaitin's queen, she bowed before the Emperor. As long as she obediently followed Shao Kahn, Devora found safety in his shadow and was reassured that the hive was secure. She saw his interactions with the sorcerer Quan Chi, which ultimately resulted in Shao Kahn's demise 10,000 years later. With nowhere to go and no other option, Devora decided to serve Mileena, the new queen of Outworld, and Shao Kahn's daughter, instead of trying to liberate herself. The first thing Mileena did to put Devora to the test was have her kiss her boot. The cruel Mileena kicked the Kaitin in the jaw for doing this. Later, Devora saw Kotal's coup d'etat. When she saw Reptile suffer a blow in a sincere show of loyalty for Kotal, Devora finally understood that Kotal would rule with respect, as opposed to Mileena and Shao Kahn's deeds of terror. She decided to support him out of a genuine appreciation for Kotal's actions. Aaron Black and Kotal Khan are joined at the Special Forces base by Devora. After having a brief conversation with Kotal and declining to aid Outworld in its conflict with Mileena, Devora strikes Sonya Blade in retaliation for her contempt of the Emperor. To stop Kotal from attacking the Special Forces men, Sonya tries to tie Devora down and take her captive. However, Devora cheerfully expresses her willingness to die for her Emperor. The combat stops as Raiden shows up, and Devora, Kotal, and Aaron depart via the gateway the Power Stone has opened. Her Emperor observes Devora as he addresses the Outworlders. Following Kotal Khan's announcement to the populace that his father, Kotal Ketz, will hunt down the traitors, Devora is once more spotted closely following him. It is revealed that Devora, who had been disguised by Reptile along with Farah and Tor to battle the Red Dragon mercenaries, had secretly traveled with her Emperor to the Golden Desert to get revenge for the death of his father. After they've destroyed the Red Dragons, captured Goro, and destroyed Reiko and Mileena's hiding place, Devora reprimands her Emperor for taking a chance by going up against Goro directly. Kotal gets shot by Special Forces personnel, and Devora is there to protect him. As Johnny Cage's intervention helps to defuse the conflict between the Emperor's troops and the Special Forces, Devora stays beside Kotal Khan. Cage offers the injured Kotal medical supplies to help him heal, but Devora orders him to leave before utilizing worm-like insects to eat the bullet and use natural coagulation to close the wound. Devora persuades the exhausted Emperor to talk to Cage about his lost daughter. Devora informs Johnny and Sonya that everyone was furious following the catastrophic meeting with Special Forces, and implies Black is acting out on that dissatisfaction, until Aaron Black is the real perpetrator and acting alone with the Black Dragon. Then, Devora and Reptile are instructed to direct Johnny and Sonya to the northern trade route, where Aaron Black is now located. Devora guides the special forces across the Outworld forests. She kills a little lizard along the road with her pincers and eats it, much to Sonya Blade's displeasure. Sonya instructs Devora to stop when she claims she is hungry and offers to vomit the lizard for her to eat. To Devora's horror, the gang soon stumbles across Aaron Black, who is bloodied and chained to a tree. Before finding out about the abducted lady's present whereabouts on Shang Tsung's island, Devora hears Black's account of the conflict between the Black and Red Dragon clans. The Emperor criticizes Aaron Black for his deeds before being told to return to his cell by Devora and Reptile. Devora is standing with the rest of Kotal Khan's troops. Kotal Khan and Sonya Blade are discussing a plan when Devora arrives to tell her monarch that the Shokan has been detected over the mountains. Informing her emperor that they are prepared to negotiate with the Shokan, Devora goes to Kotal Khan with Tor and Farah. She is given Kotal's conditions and instructed to be firm in her support of the Shokan. Devora, Farah, and Tor set off to meet Kintaro and start discussions. Respectfully approaching an aggressive Kintaro, Devora tries to offer him Kotal Khan's conditions, but Kintaro rejects them and demands Kotal Khan's immediate surrender to King Gorbak. When Devora assures Kintaro that the Emperor will never submit, she speaks on behalf of Kotal Khan, prompting Kintaro to start the siege. As the siege begins, Devora returns to Kotal Khan's castle with Farah and Tor, reprimanding an irate Farah before assuring her that they would soon be in the Emperor's presence. Kotal Khan has vanished, leaving behind just his Kami Dogo, confusing Devora and Farah as to where he has gone. Devora engages in combat with the Shao Kahn during the last hours of the siege, killing one while being protected by Reptile from another fatal blow. Devora witnesses Farah and Tor being tossed aside by a huge mutant Oni warlord with 2 heads, who towers over her and Reptile as the latter recommends they reunite with them. The warlord injures Reptile, but Devora kills it by blasting through the monster's chest. Devora delivers Reptile over to Kotal Khan while observing that her emperor almost sacrificed himself once more to win a different conflict. Devora learns Kotal wants to employ more blood magic, which the Kaitin fears would kill him if he were to use it, as he says he will have to make even greater sacrifices to prevail in the upcoming war. When Devora insists on protecting Kotal as he promises to defend the capital tomorrow, Kotal declines, instructing her to accompany Johnny Cage and Sonya Blade to the island of Shang Tsung instead. Later, when they return to Kotal Khan's quarters and find his Kami Dogo missing, Devora is the target of Kotal Khan's fury. While Kotal is squeezing her, Devora pleads for her innocence before the Emperor releases her. Kotal tells Devora his connection has gone and says the city is doomed when she begs to be permitted to stay and assist him in defending Zun-Kara and later seek the dagger. Devora went to the devastated capital of Zun-Kara with Tor, Reptile, and Farah remaining mute. At the same time, Reptile attempts to talk the Emperor out of risking his life to defend the city from the Shokan's upcoming onslaught, as Farah tells her and Tor's tale of how Kotal defended them from the Tarkatans after Reptile is unable to move Kotal. Devora remarks that she doesn't want to remember the Emperor as gloomy. To assist Kotal in killing and devouring their own, the Tarkatans must have set a price on the symbiotes' heads, according to Devora, which only serves to conflate the two. Devora admits that she never respected the prior emperor, and tells her narrative of how she grew to appreciate and obey Kotal, stating he is the first leader she has ever genuinely respected, when Kotal becomes enraged and demands that his followers respect him as they respected Shao Kahn and not oppose him. She sees Kano and the other Black Dragon warriors show up as a minor earthquake abruptly rocks the capital. To fight Kintaro's Shokan and Oni warlord horde, Devora teams up with Kotal Khan's army and Kano's Black Dragons. She sees Tremor disable Kintaro's troops before using a portable nuclear weapon to destroy more than half of the Tiger Shokan's warriors. Devora stands at her Emperor's side as the Black Dragon tries to negotiate payment for their services after Kotal Khan is successful in persuading the Shokan and Kintaro to fight by his side once more. When Kano tries to demand the return of the stolen Portal Stone, Kotal Khan confronts him and refuses to compensate them for their part in the abduction of Jackie Briggs and Cassie Cage. Devora holds Kano after Kotal Khan has subdued him, before Kotal orders that he be sent to prison. Then, Devora takes Farah, Tor, and Kano with her as she departs. Devora traveled by boat with Kotal Khan, Sonya Blade, and Johnny Cage to the island of Shang Tsung. She was also present when Sonya and Johnny contacted Kotal to let him know they had arrived. When Reiko, Scarlet, and the Blood Code corrupted Jackie Briggs and Cassie Cage attacked Johnny Cage, Kotal Khan, and Sonya Blade on the island, Devora joined them. When the conflict between Kotal's army and Reiko's forces broke out, Devora was at his side. Devora assisted Kotal in killing Red Dragon warriors to get to Reiko and Scarlet, and she used her pincers and insects to easily tear them apart, while Johnny and Sonya battled their daughter and her companion. Devora vowed to Kotal that she would bleed Scarlet dry when they faced Scarlet and Reiko. The Kaitin immediately noticed that Kotal Khan's struggle with Reiko was not going well, and called out to her Emperor, allowing Scarlet to stab her with one of her blades as Devora confronted Scarlet. Unfazed, Devora took the blade out and revealed that she was aware of Scarlet's propensity for absorbing blood and gaining power. She then revealed that Kaitin's blood was particularly potent and poisonous, spritzing some on Scarlet to weaken her significantly. While Reiko was standing over Kotal, Devora leaped at him, but the power-crazed general easily caught her and tore her in two, killing her immediately. Even after Kotal Khan and everyone else on the beach are captured by Havoc, Devora's collective of insects congregate on the beach, indicating that her death is far from certain. Each of her insects repeats the words, "this one," when a fresh body that she has created rises from the sand. Several Red Dragon warriors were watching Devora's expanding body, and as they prepared to burn her, she summoned a huge swarm of bees to slaughter and consume them. Devora's rebirth was completed when the bees combined, and she was happy to see Queen Shiva and Kintaro alive in front of her. As punishment for the Shokan's inability to stop Havoc from capturing Kotal Khan, Devora threatened Shiva with one of her poison-tipped pincers. Despite her reluctance, Devora spared Shiva and motioned for the two Shokan to accompany her, explaining that Kotal Khan had the forethought to conceal supplies before attacking the island. They would use these supplies to recruit the required allies to fight Havoc. Reptile, Farah, Tor, Aaron Black, Shiva, and Kintaro joined Devora in returning to Outworld after discovering the portal stone Kotal Khan secreted away on the island. They then traveled to Shang Tsung's palace to face Havoc and his Blood Code enslaved champions. Devora asks Aaron whether he is ready for his redemption as the Outworld fighters approach, and gives him the command to keep Raiden busy and, if necessary, to sacrifice himself in the process. The possessed Devora, Farah, and Tor then face up against Kotal Khan. Devora is exposed to her Emperor's devastating right hook when she describes Kotal's custody to Farah. As Devora tries to save the possessed Kotal Khan, she quickly finds herself trapped in the wall with his blade poised to sever her throat. Kotal does not want to do this, and Devora chokes out. Moments later, the Emperor is freed from the blood magic's control and demands to know what has occurred. The freed champions of Earthrealm and Outworld would assemble with Devora, her Emperor, and the wounded Reptile. Devora journeys to the Netherrealm to pledge her loyalty to Quan Chi and his revenants as Shinnok's newest follower after seeing the amulet's power firsthand. Devora describes Kotal Khan's imperial strength as being feeble and expresses her desire to work for Lord Shinnok. Devora in Mortal Kombat Legends: Battle of the Realms. Devora appears twice in the movie, both of them during the tournament held in Outworld. Devora and Johnny Cage are pitted against each other for the first fight of the tournament. In his usual cocky attitude, Johnny begins the fight with a spinning back kick, which Devora dodges and retaliates with a solid punch to his groin, immobilizing him for some time. After Johnny recuperates, Devora shows him no mercy when she first shocks him with a flurry of strikes and then lets a swarm of bees loose at him. Before Johnny can comprehend what's happening to him, Devora grabs Johnny with one of her pincers and then kicks him across the face, knocking him out for good. Later in the tournament, Devora faces Sonya Blade, who unleashes her wrath upon her. Sonya first strikes Devora on her face, followed by a few strikes to her body. After that, she breaks one of Devora's pincers and stabs her with it. Sonya finally puts an end to the fight by smashing her knees on Devora's face and throwing her away.
This one acts only for the hive's survival.
What makes Devora so deadly? After being split in two by a possessed Reiko, she was able to reconstruct her form from a swarm of insects. Due to her affinity for insects, Devora is able to handle a variety of huge and wingless creatures. She can employ the bugs in several ways, including aggressive strikes and even the sealing of wounds. Her naturally occurring additional limbs provide her with deadly pincers to wield in battle, and partially allow her to fly. As shown in the comics, Devora is also one of the few, if not the only character to possess a regeneration factor. Marvelous verdict. Devora is an extraterrestrial symbiote with the ability to annihilate cities with her brute strength and ability to manipulate the very fabric of the cosmos. Devora has the ability to telepathically manipulate her hosts, since it isn't scared to turn the tables on them. Devora is a difficult individual to characterize from a personality standpoint. Simply told, Devora is a ruthless, cold-blooded extraterrestrial that doesn't give a damn about the lives of her hosts. Her main objective is to murder everyone she comes across. That's it for this video, but if you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. This has been Corey Whelan for Marvelous Videos. Have a good one, be safe out there, and thanks for watching.